Bolts Nation, welcome back to another episode of the Bolts Block Party. We are still in the midst of our Hall of Fame week. Our Hall of Fame induction was just happened, and we're still celebrating 30 years of Tampa Bay Lightning hockey. So it's not every day that we get some of our alumni, some of our fan favorites to join the show, but we knew that this guy was going to be in town, so we said, we got to get him on. So it is our pleasure to welcome Brian Boyle to the Bolts Block Party. Boiler, it's absolutely amazing to see you back here in Tampa Bay. What's it been like so far for you this week? It's been a whirlwind, a lot going on this week, but what's it been like for you so far?
Well, thank you. It's been awesome, really. Man, it's the best, probably the best place I ever got to play, just for, coming down and playing with such a great group of guys. We came close, but I had my firstborn, my secondborn here. So they all came down. I got since then I've had a third.
Congrats.
Thank you. But my son, my oldest, he's got so much pride walking around here, even though he doesn't remember anything. And, he walked in the locker room like he owns the place. But, I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, like most kids do, right?
Yeah. You got any gum in there? Yeah. Grab the soda,
Yeah.
It's been so much fun. Like, we miss it. We miss it so much. So seeing everybody and from top to bottom, everybody, every single person you walk by that has been a part of this organization, looks like they're excited to see you when you come back, which is nice.
How does it feel to, for me, it seems weird, but like now you're transitioned from player to alumni. How does that feel for you?
That was, it's not.
It's a weird feeling.
It is.
Like it's like
we'd all still like to be playing, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I mean, Phil said something last night. He goes, if I could play tomorrow, I would. And I mean, I'm fresh out of it, but, it's tough not playing. That's the thing, the thing you've done forever.
Right.
But at a certain point, it ends for everybody.
Sure.
And the fact that the Lightning are doing this for us, so we can come back and see guys and tell stories in the Marriott lobby till the wee hours of the night, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Getting to see guys and ask how their families are doing, catching up. It really is important, I think, to us, because it's obviously a great time, but it is important because getting back in and being in that environment again, we miss it so much. And just like from a mental health standpoint, it was nice to blow off some steam last night.
Sure.
See everybody and
get St. Patty to bed.
Yeah.
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 Just a little bit.
Some cobwebs this morning, but
Yeah.
doing all
Okay,
right.
though. That's part of the process, man.
The bourbon coming through the pores,
I knew I was smart. I just stuck with the beers.
Good man. So, like you said, it is a testament, I think, to the organization. The fact that, obviously, to have a Hall of Fame, you need to have some longevity in the league and to have some history. And it's taken 30 years for us to get to this point, but it's obviously time. And the hope is that this is now going to become an annual thing every year now. Hopefully, you guys will have that chance to come back and hang out with your boys and kind of relive some of those stories again.
Well, I think as this organization grows, it's 30 years.
30 years.
There's a lot of history there now. 30 years is it's an accomplishment for it to be around, and then the history and the prominence that this organization has built. There's a lot of teams that have been around for 30 years that
Not
just
even
don't
close.
have the accomplishments. They don't have the kind of the color that this organization has had.
Sure. And it all starts with Phil.
Yeah, it's for sure Phil, and then there's guys that just kind of have made the team what they are.
Sure.
And and everybody loves Tampa, so it's a special place to come to.
Well, Boiler, every guy that we've had on the block party this week has a career stat that affiliates themselves to the team. So yours, if you did not know this, you rank 7th all time in Lightning history for face-off win percentage at 51.2% among Lightning players with 200 or more games played. So you are still in the top 10 in a rank here in the Lightning history book.
Wolfie's our stat guy.
I
Right?
am.
He's got a stat for everybody.
I did. So did you know that?
No, I didn't. I did not know that.
That's my job, is to break up. Yeah, you still rank in the top 10.
Well, cool. Wish I won a few more.
There you go.
Thank you.
So you won the bronze medal, too, at the World Championships in Latvia. That was only just a few years ago with Team USA.
21, yeah.
So what was that experience like for you?
So that was I made a phone call to my agent in, I don't know, March maybe. I hadn't played that year. Nobody wanted me. And I just gave him a call. I'm like, looks like they're thin. they got a lot of young guys. I figured maybe I can go on. I've been training, I've been skating, and they called Chris Drury, who was the GM, who I played with in New York. He said, absolutely, and we went over there, and we were locked in to our hotel or the rink, for 12 days or whatever it was.
Sure.
Some of the guys were kind of complaining, and I was having the absolute time of my life because I hadn't played all year. I was just stuck at home during a pandemic, and I'm like,
ready to get out.
I got to play some hockey. I got to play some hockey, and I kind of parlayed into an opportunity with Pittsburgh the following year, or the following, I guess, fall, and gave me another chance to another crack at it, I guess, with Pitt.
You got a medal. I mean,
we got the medal there, which was awesome. We kind of choked a little bit to Canada. Kobe's happy. Yeah, but it was we had beat Canada earlier, and then we lost to them in the whatever it was, the quarters. We took care of business, or semis rather. We took care of business in the bronze medal game, which was really a huge honor. Like to be able to wear the jersey, and to be able to come home with some hardware was really, really special.
Cool stuff, man. So for our, we do have a lot of new Lightning fans, right? So we're always consistently building the fan base. And so just to rehash Boyler's career, he was drafted in the first rounder, which is impressive. 26th overall by the Kings back in the 2003 NHL entry draft. Played 4 seasons at BC before making the professional debut with the Kings. He scored his first career NHL goal. Do you want to take a guess what goalie he scored on?
Ben Bishop.
No.
I don't know.
Marty Brodeur.
Marty Brodeur. There we go.
First career goal. You remember that one?
That's a funny story if you got a quick second.
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
I got called up, and the game was in Jersey, and the minor league team was in Manchester, New Hampshire. So they were trying to get flights. They couldn't really do it, so I got in a car service. The guy gets lost. My first call up.
Oh, no.
Ever. First NHL game.
So you're sweating before the game.
Oh, I had 6-piece chicken nuggets for pregame meal because I knew we were cutting it close as it was.
Sure.
That's what I had to eat. That's all I could do.
Yeah.
Got to the game. I heard the anthem playing. I got on the ice at the first TV timeout. I didn't have a warm-up. I didn't meet anybody. My those rookie laps and your parents are in the stands and your grandfather's crying when you score? Yes. No one was at the game for me. Mark Crawford was our coach. He screamed at me, "Where is he?" I could hear him as I was tying my skates. I'm like, what does he want me to do?
Right.
The driver got lost. I was late. And then I think first shift, I got hit in the face. And then in the second period, I got a goal. It was like the coolest thing ever. And then the next shift, I got an assist. We lost 6-3. I was plus 2. And we went to Manhattan that night. I had a great time.
Everyone's giving you high fives. Hey, way to go, Boiler.
And my guy.
That's awesome that you remember that exact moment how that happened. So played with the Kings until 2009, traded to the Rangers with New York till 2014, then signed with the Bolts. You actually skated in your 500th career game with the Bolts, and you actually skated in your 100th career Stanley Cup playoff game with the Bolts. Just some stats I wanted to make sure you understood.
I think I knew those.
Okay, just want to make sure. I'm always trying to throw stuff out that you didn't know. So one of the classic moments, do you remember what I'm bringing up here? Abdelkader, Detroit. 2016 playoffs when Boyler was trying to get Abdelkader to basically drop the gloves, and he wouldn't. He was just literally, I remember there's the two of you, you're right there, the ref's in between, you're ready to go. What was he even saying to the ref that it looked like he was complaining almost, and then afterwards you did the chicken dance, which will forever live in infamy. But what was that interaction like? Because we haven't been able to hear from you what happened in that whole situation. Do you remember?
Yeah, so I think it was game 2 that there was a kind of a melee at the end of that game. And we had a kind of a guy who was prone down on the ice, kind of didn't have a whole lot of ways to defend himself, and I thought he got taken advantage of a little bit. And by Abdelkader, who actually was on that World Championship team with me. And he's a lovely man. He's a very good person. It was funny. Yeah. But that was kind of what it was all about. And then, I just, by the end of that game, because when the next game starts, you don't want to put your team down. I don't want to take a major, and because I didn't think he was going to fight me in the beginning of the game. And then I tried to make him fight me at the end of the game in Detroit.
Yes. And that's like playoffs, though. Playoffs, if you're losing, you're like, I'm going to set the tone for the next game.
Yeah, right.
Let's get some energy fired up here.
And he just wouldn't. And I think he had something on his hand, so he was worried about it. And I thought if I just started throwing, I was going to get suspended. Okay. So
So that's
who knows, and it was what it was, but I just didn't know what else to do, so I just tried to embarrass him or whoever in any way I could because I was kind of seeing red. I don't know what he was actually saying, but I was like, and I think it was Francois was the ref. Remember? And he's like, then just hit him then. And I was like, am I allowed to? I'm like, well, I get suspended. He goes, I don't know. So I was like, just.
He's like, I want to see it though.
Just drop your gloves.
Right.
Just drop them.
Right.
He wouldn't do it.
No.
If I was him, I wouldn't have either. So I was not happy.
No, you were not. But that forever. I mean, it's like memes. I know you're probably not heavy on social, but there's memes of you just doing this, skating away, and it just became, man.
Some fans send me some stuff
Do
once
they?
in a while.
Okay, yeah. They loved it, man. That was
like playoffs. Kobe took a slap shot on my ankle, and we were beating him by 5 one year on purpose. Neutral zone. Ask him.
Tell us about that, Cobes.
Anything to win, man.
Anything to win, buddy.
That's why he was a good teammate.
Yeah, man. Do you
Well, I was telling the story about with Callahan and how you guys in the Rangers, you guys were blocking shots, and I was just getting sick of it. So I was like trying to like actually hit you guys in the head, and these guys weren't even flinching, and I was just.
It's a lot on the line.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, you got to be
trying to
crazy.
win, right?
Whatever
You're
it
trying
takes.
to win, and
you do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Even Malone said that the other day. Like when I asked him, like, dude, like he was like, because it's the cup. Like you do anything, you put your body on the line because it's the cup.
No friends out there?
No friends out there.
hey, and some guys forget about it sometimes, and some guys don't forget about it.
Right? So there's another interesting stat that I saw. Again, going back just to a few years ago, when you were picked up by Pittsburgh in October of 2021, it was October 12th. It was the same day you appeared in your first NHL game since 2020. It was a 6-2 victory against who? Us. Mm-hmm. He scored against us.
I remember.
You do remember that?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Oh, man. That was awesome. Because, again, like I didn't play for a year, and then I was in Pittsburgh, and we were kind of trying to work out a deal. I was on a PTO, and I was like, you miss a year, you think everything's fine. Like the 4th day of camp, I had like 2 pianos on my back instead of just the normal one. I'm like, holy smokes, I am. And that was one of the hardest training camps ever. Sully put us through like a lot. Thankfully he did, because it turned and I started feeling really good. And by the time, the first game of the year, which was like an afternoon game, and in my old, the old place that I love to play it so much, getting that goal was pretty sweet. It was awesome. On ESPN, it was just kind of validated why I kept grinding when I didn't play for a whole year. And because it was tough. My family lived back at home, and I was like, am I crazy for even trying this? And that was like, hey, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Boyle, like a big part of your life is obviously your family. You got a huge family, and everybody has heard a little bit about your family and your parents and your dad, Artie. Love that guy. And
is there anybody you don't know in hockey?
Well, when Boyle's dad, he was here all the time. He was like meals with us.
I'm surprised he's not here.
Yeah,
right now.
he would like, if we were doing this interview right now, you just like pull a chair up right here and be like, hey guys, mind if I join in? It's like, dude, Artie, get in here, man. We want to hear you. But your dad talked a lot about you as like a young guy growing up and how you were an athlete and you were good at everything. Whether it was baseball, and he's like, I'm surprised, you didn't become a professional baseball player. And he talked about you hitting a golf ball like 400 yards. And,
Thanks, Dad.
And, kind of like just your accomplishments and how proud he was of you. And, your dad was a goalie, I think.
Yeah.
He was a college goalie.
Yeah.
And did he ever try to like get you to play goalie? Because like
opposite. So I was like, because I always loved the gear. That was when like the new masks were coming out when we were real young. Like all the goalies were starting to wear the cool masks. And I was like, I love the gear, the catching glove. And he's like, all right, you want to play goalie? I was begging him. My older brother's 3.5 years older than me. He goes, they need a goalie. So my first time putting on the pads, I had to go like up 3.5 years. So I'm like 6, 9 and 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
And I get lit up.
Of course.
And I'm never doing that again. And he like winks at my mom, like, yeah, but no.
Got him.
No goalies. No goalies. She's like, I was a goalie, just stand there the whole time. So that's what I tell Bish.
What's your favorite either road story, with the guys, just something that sticks out that PG-13, because again, when you have Andre Waugh on the show, he's got no filter.
You
got a good story
with Boilers. He invited us. Your sister was playing at a gig in Nashville, a small place. It was like a house kind of cafe type of thing.
Yeah, it was little.
And Boiler invited a bunch of us guys. we went and watched Gabby.
Yeah,
Gabby.
Yeah.
He remembers.
I know.
So we watched her play, and guys were just like into it. She was really good, and everyone there, and there was like regulars there. And it was pretty cool. We had a fun night in Nashville that night, and
that was sweet.
And I don't know. I was thinking about you coming in today, and I was thinking about that time, and if she was still playing or not.
She's still doing it. She's still down there.
What does she play? She's like a musician.
She's a songwriter, singer-songwriter down there, just trying to make it. It's a tough business, and she hosts. She hosts things at bars where people perform, and obviously it's Nashville, right? That's kind of the whole lay of the land. But actually, Coop reaches out to her once in a while when they go there because he wants to bring guys in and like support her. He follows up just to because he probably understands the grind, and it's like that was so cool that because it wasn't just us; it was the coaches stuff. They came
it was
too,
like there was like kind of a lot of guys.
I think we took a bus there.
It was like a small thing. And it was kind of us and his sister singing, and there was like I think she played a couple covers. Like she played a lot of her own songs, and she did a couple covers, and then the guys are like joining.
Our dads were there too. Actually, yeah. Well, one of the times we did that, our dads were there because she played like an Alanis Morissette song, and she's like, some of those songs are. So she's like, "Sorry, Dad." After she sang one of the lyrics, and I'm sitting in the back, the boys are howling. My dad's like, he was probably, had a couple of Chardonnays at that point, but he's like, it was so funny.
Chardonnays. How dad rolls, man. So who did you enjoy, obviously Kobe excluded, but who did you enjoy, playing the most with, with your time here in Tampa? Like who were some of your favorite line mates or guys that you got the chance to play with?
I mean, there weren't any bad guys, and I mean,
who were some of your favorites,
most hockey. But it's funny because like just walking down this hallway, every time I ever did, we had lunch, pregame lunch, every time, and I would ask Kobe, whatever kind of came in. I was like a 5-year-old in the car asking him because he had, if I had a question about something, I would ask him first before I'd look it up. A little Kobepedia action.
Yeah, there you go.
Kobepedia, nice.
And I missed those. I enjoyed that so much. Like, you have your morning skate, you have your meetings. There's like, you got to enjoy the next hour or two of just like to yourself because the job is stressful. Sure. It really is.
Absolutely.
And we talked, it didn't even have to be about hockey, it could be about anything. And I really did. I loved those chats with you, man. Like we're just sitting there having lunch. Yeah. But we had a great culture. We had Callie here and Stralzy, who I played with both those guys in New York before, and then I'm following them here if I could. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm coming here.
Yeah.
Watching Stammer, who was a young captain at the time, and what he had to take on, and how much he demanded of himself, and then seeing, Cooch come up and Pointer, who was just like, all different personalities, but how they had that drive.
There was kind of a leadership by committee. It was like there was Stammer was definitely our captain, but there was guys like Boiler and Callie that kind of filled in the vacuum of leadership around kind of those young guys and showed them a little bit the way to go. Because they had some success, a lot of success with the Rangers.
Right.
This is how this team was trying to figure out how are we going to win? How are we going to win in playoffs? And everyone was looking for answers, and the young guys were, looking to guys like Boiler and Callie and Phil. And
we traded for
Strauss,
Kobe. We had Brendan Morrow.
Yeah.
Like it was a great group, it really was.
Oh, it was awesome. And then you go to a new team, but you have these. I had those guys too, so we could kind of integrate and tell those stories. And then I was like, "What happened?" And you tell some Tort stories too, and people are like,
"Tort." So we had Prospal on.
Yeah,
we didn't even get to Callie, but the Tort stories, like you could just sit here for hours.
Did Vinny say the shove it up his butt story? Did Vinny ever tell you that one?
No, tell us that one.
Well,
please.
I can say it on this because he said it on TV.
You can.
He's going through it with Torts and like back and forth in the. It wasn't in the media yet, but then Vinny scored like a game-winning goal, and I guess the game before he got benched or something for a little while in the game, and he goes, "It just feels nice to come out and shove it up his butt," and he's like on camera. It was like Valley Sports or something, but it's like
that's 100% possible.
It's probably on YouTube.
He had a few F-bombs when he was on here.
Yeah, he definitely dropped a few, man. He was unfiltered, but that's just the way Prospal is, man.
Yeah.
Torts will get that. Torts will do that to you sometimes. It's all for the right reasons, but
I mean, it is. We've heard.
I love the accents though, like because Boiler gets a few pops in him, and he gets that Mass accent really starts coming out.
It's crazy too. Like people were calling us at that time like the New York Rangers of the South because we were bringing guys like you and Callie in, but again, I'm like, if that's what the players are fitting the piece of the puzzle, right? That's the whole point, is we're getting guys that fit or the pieces that we're missing in our system to make it work. But it's crazy that at the end of the day, a lot of the Ranger guys have come down to the South. But
one of the things about Boiler and then like this team that I always remember, like Boiler as a hockey player, is, he played his role perfectly, but he was a Swiss Army knife. And I know a lot of people remember, but
a good way to
Boiler, when we got in the crunch sometimes on D, guys got hurt or guys got kicked out of games. Boiler would come back, he'd play D, and he would be seamless. Like, he was a perfect defenseman. Like, and I know, Rick Bonus, he was our D coach for a long time.
Yep.
And we used to have these little cards, and each defenseman got this card, and it was kind of like our rules about how we were going to play, or what our jobs were, just kind of like different guidelines. And every defenseman got one, and Boiler, and sometimes we go on the road, and Bones would be like, all right, all the defensemen meet down the lobby. We're going to go for beers. Goalies, you can come, and Boiler, you can come too. And so Boiler would come with us as a group. But he was, it just talked to his hockey IQ that he could, in the middle of a game, he could go from playing, center, playing forward, and then being like, Boiler, get back on D, and then jump back on defense, and look like you played 10 years on defense. It was amazing. It really was.
what do you attribute that to?
Just not being particularly great at anything. As a dull,
That's not true. That is not true. That is
Swiss
not
Army
true.
knife.
That's not true.
I played some D, and I played it in college a little bit on the penalty kill, and then towards the end of college, we actually had some injuries, and our coach said to go play some D. So I pretty much was a fourth forward. I just had to get back first. But it was so much fun.
Well, we had like just a massive, like he came back to defense, and it was like Hetty, me,
Right.
Schuster,
Right.
Garrison, Boiler. We're like, dude, like, what the heck? This is like
great.
the 6'6" club here.
It was
Right.
great.
That was awesome, though. I mean, every guy you just named was an absolute stud for this organization. So flipping gears just a little bit, because, again, something that absolutely touched our fans, and I just think fans around the NHL, period, back in 2017 when you were diagnosed with leukemia. I actually lost my father to the disease. So when you were battling that, for me, it really it hit home. But the fact that in 2018 you battled and you went through remission, and that's a scary situation. That's a scary life situation to deal with. It doesn't matter who you are. What was that time like for you? And obviously you made it through all that, but talk to us a little bit about what it was like going through that time.
Yeah, that was tough, man. That was tough because like 3 weeks after I was diagnosed, my son had a rare disorder in his jaw. So he had to go through a couple of years of surgery off and on. He's great. He's running around here.
Yeah,
he's playing hockey. Yeah, like he's the man. But we had no idea. We didn't know. So for a few weeks, it was like, for maybe like 10 days, I was pretty scared. And I'm like, these kids aren't going to remember me. I don't know what this is going to be. We found out what it was. We started treating it. I felt better. And then I was kind of like, all right, like, I got to live with this, whatever. And I'm feeling good, so I'm feeling good, all good. Then the thing happened with my son, and like everything that I was worried about with me went away. And it was all about him. And he had 14, I think he had 13 or 14 surgeries. He's the only kid or person in the world to have it where he had it. And it's just a blood tumor, and his jaw wasn't growing correctly. The bone wasn't, but his jaw was enormous. And I had to deal with all that. That was a million times harder than anything I had to deal with. And I had to keep playing.
Yeah.
Because health insurance is expensive, and I needed to keep providing for him in that way. And it would have been, it would have buried us if we didn't have the insurance that the NHL provided.
Sure.
So we're going in and out of Boston Children's. I'm trying to get back for games. I'm missing meetings, putting my gear on and going and playing in New Jersey. And they were unbelievable with me in terms of like keeping the freedom of playing. I left it up to me each time. It was really, really hard. And my wife, husband just got diagnosed with cancer, and we don't really even know what's going on with her firstborn, like shouldered it all. She's like, you go and play. And she just would be sitting there long days, long nights in Boston Children's Hospital. And just took it. And like, I'll take all this stress. You go play, and play well, please, because you're going to do it. So it was motivating.
Yeah.
And then the little things that really get you, like I can't believe I lost that face-off with a minute left. Like, what if they had scored? Like, stuff like that would wake me up at night. Like, go
Right
on,
out the
like,
door.
I don't, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to work as hard as I can to be as good of a player as I can to win and be a good teammate, but also, like, this is why. Those two kids down there, like my little baby girl, doesn't know which way's up. She's 4, 5, 6 months old at the time going through all this. I'm like, no. I got to be – the responsibility or the stress of it kind of switched, which actually I thought mentally helped me more and more in terms of how I played.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I mean, that's as a dad. I mean, we're all dads. I can't imagine like having to go through that and play at a high level, like you said, perform at a high level. But that's amazing that you channeled it into that and were able to get focused and get through it. And now you said the kids are healthy and growing, and it's pretty remarkable, man. It's a pretty remarkable story. Listen, I'm sure we could talk for forever, but I know you've been, dragged around this entire week, and I'm sure you're tired, and we've got a game tonight. And so we just wanted to get you on and catch up with you, and it's been fantastic to see you back here. And I'm sure you and this guy will probably go grab a beer later, but it's been amazing to have you on.
5 of them.
Yeah, or 7, But
he's a big dude.
Drink. I'm sure you can drink me under the table. But it's been a pleasure to have Brian Boyle, one of our absolute Tampa Bay Lightning fan favorites here on the Bolts Block Party, and we wish you the absolute best in whatever is next for you.
Thanks, fellas.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
You got it.